What is up, YouTube? My name is Eben, and today on Forgotten Friday, we are taking a look at a very forgotten card, and that is Team Aqua's Walrein. Now, this deck, I'm going to warn you, is not something that I'm saying, hey, take this to regionals, you'll do great, because you may not do so great at regional, but that's okay, because this is a game, and so sometimes it's about just having fun. And I thought this deck would be a lot of fun. Take it to your local, just kind of, not for necessarily a big tournament, but just to kind of, play around. Play with your friends. I think this deck could be a lot of fun. It's sort of competitive, but, sort of not. We're kind of just playing it for flavor in a lot of ways. So if you don't know, Team Aqua's Walrein, 140 HP, painful retreat cost, and for 1 energy, it has an attack power blow that's just 30 damage for each energy attached to him. That's pretty straightforward. And then for 3 water and a colorless, he says discard 2 water energy attached to him, and he deals 80 damage to 2 of your opponent's benched Pokemon. Or actually, sorry, that's 2 of your opponent's Pokemon, not benched. He has access to the bench, but it's not just the bench. So that can be really cool for picking up some kills, especially if your opponent's not necessarily moving too quickly. And we can power this guy up pretty effectively because we have access to things like Team Aqua Energy and stuff like that. That can make this guy jump really quickly to his 4 energy cost and maybe pick up double knockouts potentially on some stuff. So, anyway, that said, we're running 4 of him because, he's the theme. He's the core of the deck. We're running 2 Team Aqua's Celio, because we like to search for water Pokemon quite easily in this deck, and so this is a good path to evolution for us, but he's not necessarily a great attacker in and of himself, although he can hit the bench with his Splatter attack, which might set us up for some dual Blizzard KOs with Team Aqua's Walrein, which is kind of cool. We, of course, have 4 Team Aqua's Sfeel to get up to our 4 Walreins, of course. And I kind of figured, well, if we're going to go with that, obviously we're going Team Aqua, so we might as well go with Team Aqua's Kyogre EX and just really go all out, since we're going to have all these Team Aqua Pokemon. We should be able to do his Power Saver ability pretty easily, which means we can just power him up to 3 water and a colorless, which in this deck is pretty much just 4 energy, because all our energy are water anyway. And it does 80 damage, of course, and then 20 for each energy in their retreat cost. Now, we're not focusing on the heavy retreat cost in this deck. That's a different deck to come later. But the thing is, he basically 2-hit KOs a lot of stuff, and honestly, even with the retreat cost boosting, he kind of misses the KO on a lot of Megas anyway, so really, he 2-hit KOs whether you invest in his pumping his attack with your deck's abilities or not. So this is just a good support mon we got. He's a great win condition, and that 190 HP on this guy can really be very useful. And we're, of course, trying to fill our bench fairly quickly for him to make sure he can actually attack. Now, the next Pokemon, I wanted to have a little bit more to make sure our bench was full, and I thought, what's a really Team Aqua-y Pokemon? And I thought about Team Aqua's Sharpedo, but honestly, we got plenty of ways to search our deck for Team Aqua Pokemon, and he can't get Team Aqua cards that aren't Team Aqua Pokemon. And then I thought about this guy, Team Aqua's Mightyena, because nothing defines Team Aqua or Team Magma more than their Mightyenas, I think. If you've ever played the video game, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This guy's just a stage 1. He's got 100 HP, and he's got Team Pact here, which reminds me a lot of Team Plasma Snorlax's Team Pact, except this guy makes you flip coins. You flip a coin for each of your Team Aqua Pokemon in play, and then you get 30 damage for each, which, that could be a nice little clutch attack. And he has a second attack that for 3 energy is 80 damage, which isn't bad, and then has a coin toss chance of removing an energy on the active Pokemon. So that's pretty cool. He's a nice extra mon to have, and like I say, he feels very Team Aqua-y. And since we're not trying to be hyper-competitive, we can fit things like this in. And of course, to make that happen, we have 2 Team Aqua Poochyenas, which also have this nice Roar attack, which might actually come in decently, and we can use its bite if we absolutely had to, I guess, mid-game, just to do something to somebody. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, we also have 4 Junipers. They can also be Sycamores, but she looks better. And, sorry, Sycamore, but it's true, you have your man charms, but no. Anyway, we also have 3 Shauna to kind of give us an increased draw power. We can play our hand out fairly decently and kind of get things down, so I'm not too worried about sending things out of our hand to get things back into our hand. You could, of course, run Professor Birch's observations if you want, but I like Shauna just a little bit better. We're running 1 Teammates. This is a good via Seeker target, and we got lots of Pokemon who are going to get KO'd for just 1 prize. They got some low HP, so this is going to be a great way to get us back in the game, find things like Team Aqua Energy and stuff like that. Next one is a really interesting card that only Team Aqua has access to, and that's Team Aqua Admin. And this card gets a basic energy card from your discard pile and attaches it to your active Team Aqua Pokemon, which is a pretty cool thing, as it's basically energy acceleration, which is pretty uncommon unless it's a Pokemon ability or attack, and very few have that even. But this is actually a supporter, which we can even Versus Seeker for, that can accelerate our energy by a whole turn's worth. It's kind of like having a Mega Turbo in a way for our Team Aqua Pokemon, which is pretty cool. And of course, we can Versus Seeker this, and this can be a great way to keep us from running low on energies, but not have to run a ton of energies at the same time. And a lot of our Pokemon have a very heavy retreat cost, and more importantly, a very heavy attack cost. So this card can really make us get there very quickly, especially since our Team Aqua energies won't be sticking around very long. We're also running one of this card, partially just to be all Team Aqua about this, but also because Team Aqua requires us to discard a card, and so this can put water energies into our discard pile to set us up for our Team Aqua admin on another turn. But of course you can also discard extra Team Aqua Pokemon you won't be needing, like extra copies of Walrein, for example, to go ahead and draw that extra card, and this way you don't have to sacrifice things in your hand to draw extra cards, which sometimes when you're trying to run like a Stage 2 family can be very important. So this guy does make the cut for that reason. It's not just totally frivolous. And of course we are running one Lysander because Versus Seeker, Lysander, getting things from your opponent to score knockouts, duh. It's just a very useful utility card in pretty much every deck. As far as our items go, we get 2 rare candies to help us get up to Walrein. We've got one Team Aqua's Great Ball. This only gets basic Team Aqua Pokemon, but it can get any Team Aqua Pokemon. It doesn't have to be a water type. And it also gets water energy from our deck. So it's a pretty nice item. It's worthy of running. We've also got a set of 3 dive balls. This is to make absolutely sure we can get our evolutions up quickly, and it also helps us fill our bench for Team Aqua's Kyogre. So there is a reason we're running so much Pokemon searching in this deck. We've also got 3 Trainer's Mail. You could run more. I think 3 is really enough because we get a lot of consistency in this deck. Just helps us get the particular item or supporter we need at the time. We're running 3 Muscle Bands to make our damage output just a little bit bigger, and this can, with some of our Pokemon, snag some 2-hit KOs we wouldn't otherwise have, like with Walrein on the active Pokemon, for example. So that's definitely a plus, and it might be able to help Kyogre under the right circumstances as well. We've also got 3 Versus Seekers to help us go through our I believe 13 supporters. Don't quote me on that, but our supporter count anyway. This helps us get the utility we need and the right one at the right time, which is always really important. Our stadiums, we've got 3 Rough Seas to kind of give us a little longevity. That's especially nice with Team Aqua's Kyogre, who's got that 190. We can really stretch that a long way with Rough Seas, and of course Walrein can take some more hits this way, most surely. We do also run 1 copy of Silent Lab, just in case something happens and our Kyogre's having a little trouble. We can Trainer Mail or whatnot and try to get a hold of this and get out of it, and you can save it in your hand and whatnot too, of course, to try to make that thing happen and kind of surprise our opponent, and it gives us 1 more stadium to get rid of other people's stadiums with too. Now, as I've been mentioning, we've got some of this Team Aqua. It's technically a double Aqua Energy, but I like saying Team Aqua Energy. We got 4 of this. It's 2 water energies on a Team Aqua Pokemon, which is amazing, but it gets discarded at the end of the turn. But that's ultimately kind of fine, because Enhanced Hammers and things like that, Zerasic, that's a thing. But the cool thing about this is you put it on Team Aqua's Walrein, and he wants you to discard 2 waters to use his second attack anyway, which, ta-da, this does that. It's good with his first attack too, but this allows us to very cheaply and in a way with much less drawback anyway, do that 80 to one Pokemon and 80 to another. So that's a great way for us to accelerate attacks and kind of bring Kyogre out of nowhere as well, which is quite good. And we're also running, the remainder of our deck is 8 water energy to help get Walrein up. So, there you have it. Team Aqua's Walrein. This is a fun deck. I really want you to try this one if you got the time. If you ever picked up these cards, and if you didn't, they're easy to trade and buy. They're very inexpensive because this set isn't, exactly tier 1, so all the stuff it's out there. It's a small price to pay for what can be a pretty fun mechanic. And we will be revisiting Team Aqua one more time a little bit later to kind of see if we can do some real work with Team Aqua's Kyogre. But anyway, until next time, like, comment, subscribe, check me out on Twitter if you haven't already, and I will see you next time on my channel with more Pokemon content.